me.
Move on to some more PlayStation talk, right? But PSVR 2, we've been hearing a lot of ramped up talk about the PSVR 2, almost as if it's coming out in the next couple of weeks. It sure shit isn't, but there was a lot.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about something that's never been revealed.
Yeah, announced. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so this one comes off of the PS5 only Twitter account. So it was talking about the PSVR 2. It was stating that Sony was trying to focus more on AAA games working on the PSVR 2 and on flat TVs. Not sure exactly what that means, though. But they were trying to move away from separate VR experiences, which was exactly one of my biggest gripes about why the VR could not succeed, why it wasn't, it didn't have the longevity or doesn't have the longevity that it needs. You know what I mean? People think it's a gimmick because you have to get PSVR only games for it. Or you just, there's games for it, but they're just, they're literally like rinky-dink games.
And they're dumbed down.
They're
not what they don't, this is not what you want to play on it.
Right. But the fact, and then you can play anything on the PSVR headset, but it's in theater mode. So you know what I mean? You could play Sekiro or you could play God of War and you're just looking at a smaller screen on your face. So I mean, that's like cool if your wife wants to take over or your significant other wants to take over the TV and you're still playing. But as far as like it being real VR experience, there isn't one like that for like those big games. That's why certain things like was it like Blood and Bones or something like that? It was
Skull and Bones?
No, it was a VR
I know what
game
you're talking about. I know you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But it's like games like that did like really well because they had like long stories and they were like full games. You know what I mean? Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. Those are like full games. With like a lot of stuff to do. It's not just something where you just got to stand there and you shoot. You know what I mean? You're walking around, you're exploring, you're
battling someone and you're picking up, putting the things out there to battle. Very simplistic, or just swiping at things flying by.
Right.
Yeah, like that's why when I saw like Medal of Honor.
Medal of Honor.
That one looked cool.
Right.
Because it's like, wow, this is a full fleshed out VR game designed for VR.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, and this is the point like we've been making, and this is the point that I think that we were trying to make with the Steam Deck too. Mm-hmm. And why I think the PS Vita failed. Like we were talking about this before. I felt the PS Vita failed because they always look at handhelds as like this separate console that you have to buy like separate games for. Mm-hmm. The Steam Deck says no, it isn't separate. It's just your PC. So whatever you can play on your PC, you can play on this. It's just another way, more unique, more utility. Mm-hmm. You can take it on the go if you want, or plug it into your television if you want.
If they had spent the time, instead of like, for like PlayStation or Xbox even trying to make like a slim version of the same consoles that are already out because, it's just skinnier, and if you wanted to save more space, you could do that. If they had spent that time trying to make it more mobile, then I think it would have been just as good. Or even
I agree.
better.
Like, that's why I do think, like, in my opinion, I do believe that is the future. I mean, I've talked about this already with Steam Deck. I feel like the future of gaming is going to be these Switch-style consoles. The reason why I didn't think Switch had set the standard was because Switch wasn't able to play all the games.
Right.
All you could play is Nintendo games. They had the right idea for they were thinking in the sense of the future, where you can plug your Switch into your television and play on your 4K screen, or slip those controllers on and play mobile. That's the right idea. I think that is the future. But the Steam Deck really made it a reality because they're like, hey, you have all those capabilities like the Nintendo Switch has, but you can play freaking Death Stranding, in 60 FPS, right? Like on the go, or Days Gone, right? Like, or Horizon Forbidden West. Like you could play all these wonderful games on the freaking go.
Yeah.
That's a game changer. That's the way we're going. And I think Sony, because it says here in this update, they're really focusing on trying to let the PSVR 2 play AAA games.
Right.
And that's what you wanted. That's what
Just
we've all
adding
wanted
that
from the
extra
start.
feature
It's an
on
additional
these
utility.
games,
It's like an
Yeah.
extra bonus. If I buy this thing, it's another way to play the games I already know that I can play.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like how hard should it be to make the PSVR usable on a game that's already first person?
I don't know. We've talked about this before. I don't know.
To change the controllers, like give it a new controller option. So that's it, to be able to use the Move controllers or these new PSVR 2 controllers or whatever, to be able to use those to play the game instead of using your regular PS5 controller. That's literally should be the only thing you need to do, because you can see out of your eyes for the character. It should be everything you see there, so you just have to make that. That's it. Make that part portable, and you should be able to play any
that
game.
too, or just make it like an extra screen. So like you like Sony can go to the developers and say, hey, don't worry. We want you to have PSVR features too if you can, but to be honest, just make it so we can play on just like a separate screen. Right. So that you can sit on the couch, throw your headset on. It's still more immersive. It's not as immersive as like you saying, like if you have like some controller supports and things, but it's still going to be much more immersive to put that thing on and look into the world like directly in your eyes. There's no peripheral. You're only seeing the world. And even if you're using a PlayStation 5 controller, like that sucks, but even if that's all you can do, let it have that functionality.
Right.
Let the darn PSVR 2 have that function. Then I might consider buying it, because now I know that I can use it as often as I want or as little as I want.
Right.
I'm not just like waiting for something to work on it, sitting around waiting, will this work or that work?
To whatever these developers decide, whichever developers decide to put something specifically for this thing. You know what I mean?
You can use it.
You can play everything. It's good. It was cool because I was on PS5 Only's thread or whatever, and they were showing some different stuff. They're always posting about different things, but they posted this kid is like something Ginger or whatever. I can't remember the exact name of his channel. He does have a YouTube channel, but this kid basically took a PS2 and made it portable. He did that he did a lot of work on it, but
he got it.
He trimmed down the motherboard of the PS2, and then he added a bunch of the different parts that were cut off. He added those as like extra attachments on top of the motherboard and stuff like that, and he made it so it was literally a handheld that was able to play like all PS2 games. The only thing is that you had to use like a type of mod that lets you boot from the memory card instead of from like a disc or whatever, because you can't really fit an optical drive in there.
Right.
But yeah, it played like PS2 games and stuff beautifully or whatever. And it looked dope. Like if I had seen something like that come out, where there was like another way for you to play like the PS2 games on the go, I definitely would have got that,
Yeah.
As opposed to like being forced to buy totally separate games like PS Vita games.
Exactly.
That I can't even.
That's always been the issue.
They tried to deal with it and help you out a little bit, right? By saying your PS Vita games that you bought digitally could be played on your PlayStation, but you couldn't play
not
your PlayStation
the other way around.
On the Vita game.
The Vita games could be on the PlayStation, but the PlayStation games couldn't be on the Vita.
Right.
Or a select few could, like indies.
Right, and that was only if you bought it digitally. If you bought it physically, there's no putting it on the other system. So,
Exactly.
But at least you had that option if you wanted to get there. And they did like a little bit of crossplay, but they've really just dropped the ball. All of these have for that.
Right.
It's just not a good option. But yeah, so enough with the VR2.
And I'll just say one more thing about the VR2. The little screen is supposed to be like 4K now. They're like shooting for OLED.
Right.
Which that even makes me more. So now, like, I might even want to choose to use that screen like over my television because it's going to be so crystal clear.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's a really neat feature too. And like they're doing tricky things with it, with that eye tracing, right? The
the foveated rendering.
The foveated rendering, where like it's really focusing on what you're using eye tracing to focus in what you're looking on, and not render anything else to help with the processing power.
Which is definitely understandable.
Yeah, that's a really clever way. That's a super clever way of making it more powerful.
5 talking about it. How it was showing the cone of view, and how it was like, soft rendering like the images and things like that.
You weren't
they
looking,
were really
that you couldn't see
behind you. But as soon as you turned, it fully rendered it. So that it kept it, to be able to run smoothly without bogging down the system.
Super clever way of getting more power out of your system. Right. Really clever. Like so, Sony sounds like they're doing really all the right moves here.
Yeah.
And like they're so dead on here. Like that was the number one thing that I was thinking about with this console was make it be able to play all AAA titles. Even if there is no VR-like tools, let it play it at least. Just let it run it. If it can do that, then people are going to be a lot more incentivized to buy it.
Yeah.
If they know they're buying like a separate console, right? Because that's what it feels like. When you buy the VR, it's like you're buying a separate console.
You're paying $300 for it.
Yeah, and it's like you're buying a separate console, and so all you can play on it are its games. How about I'm paying $300. I should have some more integration between my normal console.
Right.
Because, it's like this is an expensive accessory, man. Where they turn it into like a Vita, where like it's the separate thing with these separate games. There's no mixture. Getting rid of that barrier, and I think you're going to have much better sales on this thing.
Yeah, inclusiveness keeps it from being a gimmick.
Right.
It just makes it a gimmick when you have to get.
And no one wants a gimmick.
Specific things for it. You know what I mean? Like
no one wants
you
a
have
gimmick.
You have to buy this game in order to play with it. You know what I mean? Or else you can't really do anything, with it. That it's utilized for or whatever.
Yeah, this is the right direction.
I also thought it was funny because recently all of the Elden Ring stuff has started popping up across the board, so because it's releasing for Xbox, PC, all that stuff. So the Steam account's finally pulled up the page, it has it on there. The PlayStation has it.
You can pre-order now and wish list it, right? Yeah.
I think you can wish list it, but you can't pre-order it. It's not available for pre-order yet, but you have the access to look at it and see where it's going. And I thought it was funny because I was looking at it, and it was posted by a couple of people also within like the last day or two, of recording this, and it was showing that, it had the 4 players that you could play together online or whatever, PS Plus supporting, but it also showed that it was PSVR capable, that PSVR was enabled on it, and you could use the PS aim controller, which is that little gun.
That's what was trippy to me.
And I thought that was interesting, because that would seem like this would be a shooter of some sort.
Why in the heck would that be available on this game?
Yeah, so then my gear started like really turning, like
what is this game?
Like, I must have missed something through the gameplay that we saw and whatnot. Like they're really holding.
There's nothing shooter about this. Yeah,
yeah, but. Today, before starting recording this, I pulled up the stuff again so we could have all of our topics listed out, and this was in fact taken off of it, and they put an asterisk on there at the very top that says this does not support PSVR. So they made it a point to say, "Hey, we fucked up. Like we didn't." Because
that was the rumors going around.
We posted it.
Yeah,
like it does not have PSVR on it. So. Unfortunately, there's not that cool aspect on it, but that would have led me to believe that PSVR was closer
than what it is.
Thought, because if you got a brand new game and you don't have a PSVR system, like a new one, like you're holding something.
This would be PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Like the way this would work is PSVR 2, right?
Something graphically beautiful, such as Elden Ring.
Exactly. Yeah, I was blown away too, man. When you sent me that text and like you were telling me, I was like,
you're trying to figure it out, and I was like, dude, it says aim controller on there.
Aim controller.
Yeah, I got the picture. I'll put it here so you guys.
I was tripped out by that. You know, like I was like, aim controller. Okay, the multiplayer I get. And, like, I guess maybe it could run through the VR lenses, but the aim controller really was like, that's bizarre. Yeah. Your arrows, your bow and arrows, like, what would you use that for? Would you, like, put it away and, like, pick it up?
But, the fact that you'd have to, that's like your controller. That was used as your controller.
Yeah, so exactly.
You would have to put the other two down to ring this. So, and it would have to register.
This is really trying to be role-playing. You know when you pull your bow off your back?
Yeah, I mean that's how it was with The Walking Dead, but you just reach behind your back and squeeze the trigger,
and then like that is, but like actually pulling a real thing out.
Yeah, you got the little holster,
like,
and
hurry up,
attachment. You just pull it down. You
you're
let
trying
the
to be
controllers
like,
go. You pull it up, and then you got your gun. You sit that down.
That's funny, dude. That's funny. Yeah, I was like, what are they doing with this thing? But yeah, they released that clarification
for sure
and fixed that whole confusion.
Yeah, but